Welcome to the quality task. Plan and optimize quality of products and deliverables. And one thing to note up front. In PMBOK 8, quality now lives inside the scope performance domain, because quality and scope are two sides of the same deliverable. Quality management is the bridge between what stakeholders expect and what the project actually delivers. It moves beyond simple inspection to actively planning and embedding quality into both the product, the deliverables, and the process, the work. This is a big, figure-rich task, so we've split it into 3 parts. In this first part, we cover the Plan, Do, Check, Act workflow, the prevention over inspection mindset, the cost of quality, the difference between quality assurance and quality control, and how quality plays out across methodologies. Let's start with the workflow. The workflow, and it follows the classic quality cycle: plan, do, check, act. Plan. You cannot manage quality if you don't know what good looks like. So you gather quality requirements with stakeholders and define specific measurable metrics. For example, software must respond in under 1 second, plus explicit acceptance criteria. All of this goes into the quality management plan, which defines the standards, tools, and roles. And you integrate sustainability here too, energy efficiency, less waste, as a genuine quality attribute. Do. You execute the planned quality activities, and you use audits, structured, independent reviews, to verify the team is actually following the defined processes. That's quality assurance. Check. You use inspections and testing, peer reviews, physical measurements, software tests to verify the deliverables against requirements and find defects before they reach the client. That's quality control. Act. You optimize. You use retrospectives and lessons learned to find the root causes of recurring defects, apply root cause analysis to fix them permanently, and use Kaizen, small, continuous improvements, to reduce waste over time. The role and mindset, and this is the single most important idea in the whole task. Quality is planned in, not inspected in. Prevention over inspection. This is the PMBOK 8 principle stated directly. Embed quality into processes and deliverables. You build the quality and the acceptance criteria into the work from the very start, rather than trying to catch defects by inspecting at the end. Why does this matter so much? Because the cost of fixing a fault rises exponentially the later it's caught. A defect caught in design costs almost nothing to fix. The same defect caught after it reaches the customer can cost a fortune in rework, warranty, and reputation. So as the project manager, you are the keeper of stakeholder satisfaction, and your core judgment is an economic one. You constantly weigh the cost of preventing mistakes against the cost of reworking them. This sits at the intersection of 2 mindsets: proactive, because you design defects out before they occur, and value-driven, because you make sure quality activities earn their keep by cutting failure rates. And that trade-off has a name. That name is the cost of quality, and here it is as a tree you can hold in your head. The cost of quality is the total cost incurred to ensure quality across the whole life of the product. It splits cleanly into 2 branches. On the left, the cost of conformance. Money you spend to avoid failures. It has 2 parts: prevention costs, like training, documenting your processes, and buying the right equipment, and appraisal costs, like testing and inspections. On the right, the cost of non-conformance, money you spend because failures happened. Also 2 parts: internal failure costs, rework and scrap, the failures your project catches before delivery, and external failure costs, liabilities, warranty work, and lost business, the failures your customer catches after delivery. And the whole point of the tree is the argument at the bottom: prevention is the cheapest dollar you'll ever spend. Let's read it that way. Reading the tree: pay now or pay much more later. Start on the conformance side. This is money spent on purpose, up front, to avoid failures. Prevention is designing quality in training your people, documenting the process, investing in good equipment. Appraisal is checking the work. The testing and inspection that confirm you're on standard. Both are voluntary planned investments. Now the non-conformance side. Money you're forced to spend because something went wrong. Internal failure is caught inside the project. Rework and scrap. It's costly, but at least you found it. External failure is caught by the customer. After delivery, warranty claims, liabilities, lost business, damaged reputation. That's the most expensive quadrant of all. And here's how you use this in real life to argue for prevention over cure. You show stakeholders the numbers. Spending $10,000 on training, a prevention cost, is far cheaper than spending $100,000 on warranty repairs, an external failure cost. Same defect, radically different price depending on when you deal with it. That's the business case for quality. Now a distinction the exam tests relentlessly. Quality assurance versus quality control. Same goal, quality, but they guard different things. On the left, quality assurance. It's process-focused. The question it asks is, are we following the right processes? Are we doing the work right? Its primary tool is the audit, an independent review of whether the team is adhering to the defined processes and standards. QA is proactive. It's about building confidence that a good process will produce good results. On the right, quality control. It's product-focused. The question it asks is this specific deliverable correct? Did we build the right thing? Its tools are inspection and testing. You examine the actual work products to find defects. The memory hook. Assurance is about the process. Control is about the product. A for assurance, A for audit. And the sequence matters. You verify internally with QC first, and only then do you validate scope with the customer. Let's make that concrete. Quality assurance and quality control side by side. Two different questions about the same project. Quality assurance is process-focused. It asks, are we following the right processes? You answer it with audits, structured independent reviews that confirm the team is adhering to the agreed processes and standards. QA is inherently proactive. Get the process right, and good deliverables follow. Quality control is product-focused. It asks, is this specific deliverable correct? You answer it with inspection and testing. Peer reviews, physical measurements, software tests to find defects before they ever reach the client. And remember the order from the scope task. You verify internally with quality control first, your team confirms the deliverable is correct, and then you validate scope with the customer who formally accepts it. QC is internal correctness. Validate scope is external acceptance. Don't confuse the two on the exam. One quality task, but it runs on two different rhythms depending on your approach. Let's finish there. Application by methodology. Front-loaded versus built-in. In a predictive project, quality is heavily front-loaded. You define precise specifications and measurements in the quality management plan before any work begins. Verification is a formal activity, usually happening at defined phase gates. The example, a highway construction manager sets explicit standards for asphalt thickness and concrete strength during planning. At milestones, they run formal inspections. And if a material test fails, that's non-conformance. Work stops until the fault is fixed and the project can't advance to the next phase. Stop work on non-conformance. In an adaptive project, quality is continuous and built into every iteration. The definition of done is the primary quality criterion, a shared checklist every increment must meet. Testing is typically automated and daily, as in test-driven development, and defects are prevented in real time through peer review and pair programming. When a bug surfaces in a sprint review, the team holds a retrospective to improve its testing for next time, continuous improvement in action. Hybrid blends them. Predictive quality standards for regulated hardware, adaptive feedback loops for the software. Let's lock in Part 1. Quality follows Plan, Do, Check, Act. Define the standards, assure the process, control the product, then continuously improve. The mindset is prevention over inspection. Quality is planned in, not inspected in. And a fault costs exponentially more the later you catch it. The cost of quality proves the case. Conformance, which is prevention plus appraisal, is far cheaper than non-conformance, which is internal plus external failure. And keep assurance and control straight. QA guards the process with audits. QC guards the product with inspection and testing. That's the quality workflow, the prevention mindset, the cost of quality, and QA versus QC. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next lesson.